traded more and more power. He came to rule Italy as its unquestioned dictator and styled himself Il Duce, aka the leader. He also changed the world map a little bit, as he officially made Vatican City a country, and gave them tons of money in return for Catholic support. So hey, that's a fun fascist fact. And he also conquered Ethiopia, which was essentially poor people with swords and a few guns, versus 800 tanks, airplanes, and 330 tons of horrific mustard gas that killed armies, civilians, and water supplies. A completely one-sided battle for sure, but to the Italian nationalists, absolute proof that fascism was definitely going to work out. The Italians also decided to occupy Albania to control the entrance to the Adriatic Sea. Now, not to be that kind of guy, but since I am here with a white shirt and you are completely white, it's probably time for you to go before we start the shirt race war. Oh, but before you go, here, a sticker of approval. May the Italian Jojo gods be with you. Bye, my friend! Hello again. Did you like my painting? Yeah, they always react like that. World War II still hasn't happened. In fact, we are only in 1922. So why did I push you all the way into fascist Italy? Well, because history is kinda like a domino chain. And Mussolini? He is one of the first dominoes, but he is not the biggest one. Watch your head. Du Hund? Well, this is awkward. My name is Bear Oliver, and let me guess, the Italian guy already explains fascism? Perfect, that saves me like 5 pages of dialogue. Anyway, Germany was basically having the same problem as Italy. But instead of being winners that felt like losers, they were losers that felt like ultra-losers. Unlike Italy, Germany wasn't upset because they didn't get enough. They were upset because they got stuck with the biggest bill imaginable. Roughly $5 to $10 trillion in today's money. On top of that, they lost these territories, had to demilitarize the Rhineland, reduced their army to just 100,000 men, weren't even allowed to have an air force, and were forced to watch our Delta Heist video 3 times per day as punishment for being a bad boy. Needless to say, the Germans were not having a wunderbar time. Suddenly, a lot of Germans started looking for somebody to blame. See that angry guy over there? That is Adolf Hitler, a failed artist and Europe's next big headache. He fought in World War I, somewhat was a surprisingly brave soldier, running as a trench messenger, which earned him 2 medals and 2 injuries. When he was laying blindfolded in bed, recovering from his second injury sustained from mustard gas, he finally heard the news. Germany had surrendered. Hitler was absolutely devastated and furious. Like many radical German soldiers, he refused to believe the German military had actually lost on the battlefield. So he started to give speeches about it. Lots of speeches. He joined a small political party, took it over, and transformed it into the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Or as normal people call it, the Nazi Party. No, they weren't actually socialists. Despite the name, the Nazis hated socialism, hated communism, and spent a lot of their time beating up socialists. Now, before you think Hitler was just a German Mussolini, he kinda was, just with one very important difference. While Mussolini mostly cared about the nation, Hitler cared about the nation and race. He became obsessed with the idea that Germany's problems weren't just caused by bad politicians, but by entire groups of people, especially Jews. This is probably the fascism people mean when they call you a fascist for disliking the color purple. Anyway, while Hitler was busy giving speeches, which he was extremely good at, Germany was busy falling apart. So Hitler looked over to his neighbors down below and decided to copy their homework. He gathered a bunch of supporters, marched into a beer hall, which is probably why we are here, and tried to overthrow the German government while downing some Jägermeister. Unsurprisingly, it failed, and he got thrown into prison and